Counselor, looks like you joined us on the space. I wanted to talk to you and see what the heck. I never met you before, so are you able to unmute?
Hey, what's going on, Gavin?
How you doing?
Doing pretty good, man. Yeah, welcome. Thanks for having me up here, and hello to the BSV community. Happy to join one of these spaces. I've been in here a few different times, but recently decided to try to provide some, just legal insight, the legal side of things for crypto or just BSV stuff in general, just because that's what I do. That's what interests me. So just
So
figured,
can we start? Can we start with your story? I know I've been reading all your stuff. We've been kind of talking back and forth on X. I know you met with Craig recently and had a talk. But before you go into telling us how you met Craig, how did you even get here? And
Oh,
without
well, I
doxing
guess I should
yourself, tell us
clarify.
your background.
Well, I didn't meet with Craig.
Oh,
Maybe my words got misconstrued, but I've had discussions with Craig on X. I like to interact with Craig, but no, I've never met Craig in person. That would be awesome. But no, he's always, posting late at night, which, sometimes that's usually your best chance to get replies. And I usually like to push the script a little bit with him. And, any chance I can bounce things off of him, it's always just a pleasure to see his responses are always really well articulated and thought out. There's a couple times I must have said something that might have triggered him a little bit, and he quickly turned a switch on me, and I'm thinking, no, I'm the good guy here, but you know how Craig is. But no, I mean, I guess to give you a little insight, my BSV story is, I kind of got into crypto, I guess, around 2016. Um, using it for things that you probably shouldn't. Like I think the first thing I bought was a prop ID, as I'll call it. I was in college at the time, but and then over the years, I actually like kind of realized no, the cryptocurrency is pretty cool, and I just kind of had like the natural normie progression where it was like. I think I started on meme coins with Ethereum, and then I got into the Solana boom. And then after a while, like everything just got stale, and I just kind of got tired of buying, for lack of better words, just useless junk. And then I can't remember who it was, but I read somewhere someone said, it's not, and I actually don't really believe it now, but at the time it kind of resonated. It was like you buy a Bitcoin fork and you ask questions later. And I was like, huh, that's an interesting thought. So I just kind of looked at Bitcoin Cash, and that was the first thing that actually drew me in was Bitcoin Cash. And I was like, oh, this is great. It's the better, faster Bitcoin. And then you just slowly get more in it, and you're like, wait, what's BSV? And I'm like, wait, hold on, BSV is even closer to the original Bitcoin. So that's kind of how I naturally progressed here. But yeah, so yeah, anything you'd like to chat about, just let me
yeah.
know.
So sounds like you go to law school and pass the bar?
Yeah, I am here in the United States. I'm a Missouri guy for anyone who's in the Midwest, but um, yeah, I went to law school here in Missouri. Funny story. It actually took me 4 times to pass the bar. I don't tell people that uh, lightly. I think, there's actually a lot of pride I have in that. So, a lot of people that pass first time, a lot of people they fail and they give up. But hey, it took me 4 different times. But hey, I finally
What year did
passed
you
it.
pass?
It was about 2 years ago, so I'm still pretty low level. But
So
um,
are you working like as a kind of an intern or like at a firm, or you're just doing private
Yeah,
practice,
I'm
or
at
what
a
are you doing?
firm. Yeah, I'm an associate is what they would
Associate, yeah.
call. Yeah, but
Cool.
I'm definitely like, it's kind of funny. There's a lot of different age ranges in a lot of law firms, but a lot of the young guys and stuff were, really leveraging AI and stuff. So I'm like, man, crypto, BSV, AI, like it's all kind of coming together, and I just want to make sure that I'm like leveraging this stuff as best as possible because there's just so much going on. It's actually pretty awesome.
Yeah, nobody understands it in your industry at all. So, I mean, they're just like, right? It's very few people do.
Oh
Anyways.
yeah, definitely. And there's also like that fine line you got to walk with uh, confidential client information, and especially if you're putting it in AI or LLMs that are open source that are training on. There's a few cases I think about a year ago that a lawyer got found, what do you call it, malpractice for putting in confidential client info on like the free version of ChatGPT. But that's like the only case law there is. There's no like case law on like the enterprise level or the ones they say they don't train on. So there's definitely like a legal gray area here where a lot of people are operating thinking, well, if I just buy the top plan, I'm good. But that's not necessarily true. We just know that the lowest plan is not good.
Yeah. So let's talk about this case. I mean, did you read the pleadings on the case where they'll basically kind of give you a little background here? The op returns were what happened was that somebody had done these op return transactions back in let's see, July of last year, and they gave notice with the Solomon Brothers notice saying that if these Satoshi coins, like the 3 million plus coins, weren't somehow moved, like they had some right to give them any notice. I don't. It was strange, but then they were going to take them, and that's where it started. And
Yeah.
I reported, I'm like, oh, this is crazy. Why would someone do that? And I was like, we were kind of joking about it. I'm thinking maybe it was Craig. We don't know, but uh, yeah, maybe he was going after his coins and he lost them, or maybe it's just some troll. And at this point now he sued people. He sued everybody of those coins anonymously as a John Doe. He got a real attorney in Brooklyn, and the reason the case is now serious is because the judge, some crazy judge, they issued the order to do the service in an op return. Is
Yeah, it's very interesting. It I have a few different, thoughts about it. I
Yeah.
mean, on one hand, I'll just say straight up, I don't think like I would be shocked if the judge ruled in favor of the plaintiff or petitioner because like they just don't have like sufficient evidence to show that they have control over the wallets. I mean, so if we're getting to the very end, I would be shocked if that's the outcome. Now, I personally think that they probably filed this matter not for that outcome, but probably just to get some legal precedent out there. It could be a strategic move just to, hey, we'll probably lose this case, but hey, if they uphold service, I mean, that's one more thing we didn't know about litigating on, cryptocurrency ownership. So, but yeah, I mean, personally, I think the op return is kind of questionable and it's interesting because I mean Craig posts so much. I mean it's hard to keep up with everything he's doing. But a lot of the I think it was about maybe a few weeks ago or maybe a month ago, he did have a post, or maybe it was on his Substack, I think is what it's called, like his little journal or his like his webpage where he puts articles. But he was talking about how proof of having the keys to a wallet does not prove that you are technically the valid owner of the wallet, and he's developing actually some cryptographic proof to prove that how to link the owner, like a actual person, to a crypto wallet. And I don't think he's released that yet, but I know that he said he's been working on it. So it's interesting because if they uphold service here, or if they don't, it's very relevant to the stuff that Craig's working on. So I mean, I don't know if there's if he's involved, that'd be pretty crazy. But if not, I mean, it's whatever he's working on is highly relevant because yeah.
The
But
one thing I do think that's weird is that he has not talked about it. Now, normally Craig will be like he will come out and bash them and talk smack against them if he's thinking it's wrong. He hasn't said a word.
that's true. No, you're absolutely right.
So I
I
think
mean,
that's
it's
rather
silence.
weird. That's something I'm a little just like, why hasn't he said anything about this? Because, dude, I guarantee he's got some skin in the game. Some of those coins are probably his. I don't know how many. Some of them.
They could be, and if I remember correctly, I think I watched a video or heard someone talk about the Solomon brothers because it was like what, July of last year that
July
like they
4th.
moved
Yeah.
those coins, and I think they moved the BTC, or they just moved BTC and BCH, like they didn't move the
Oh,
BSV or something
yeah,
odd
that,
like
that was the
that.
Galaxy Digital. That was the Galaxy Digital Mike Novogratz article you could read about that, where they
Okay,
moved the
yeah.
BTC and it was 80,000 BTC, all sold through Galaxy Digital $8 billion transaction went off to one person, and Mike Novogratz said on his account there is that yeah, one guy did it. It wasn't a company. It was just one random ass guy. He had this, and they didn't give his name. And then all of a sudden, what, a couple weeks later, maybe months later, if you guys remember, I did that show with Kate Mosso, and Kate Mosso came on, and she was an independent journalist. She met with Craig, did that interview with him as a journalist, and Craig told her on the interview, on the record, she says, "This is off the record, right, Craig?" And he's like, "No, this is on the record. I don't care." And he said, "I'm spending $30 million a month to save Bitcoin. I don't care. I'll go bankrupt. I want 30 million a month." He said that to her. And now that's
Wow.
hearsay. Okay, maybe it was, but I don't know if it was true, but that's what she said to me on the space, and she's said that many times that really is what he said. And we know that somebody's spending a lot of money. Was it him? Well, he it sure makes sense. Where would he get his money? That was an $8 billion sale, and if you know Craig, he spends money like a. I'm sorry, Craig, but from what I understand, like a drunken sailor. He spends money, dude. Like he cares more about saving the protocol than money. He'd rather go bankrupt
Oh
than
yeah, it's
than
interesting.
yeah.
I mean, I'll say this: my 2 cents on the case itself is like I don't understand how you could find that the wallets were lost and abandoned. Like when you and I set up crypto wallets, like we didn't sign some terms of service that said that we're going to make a transaction every 3 months. Like you have no obligation to transact on your wallet. You can set up a wallet, you can fund it, and you can never touch it for 30 years. And I would not say that that wallet's abandoned. Like that's perfectly fine. So I don't understand how a judge would ever rule in favor of this, but I guess you never know
I mean, the
nowadays.
only
So
problem I have with it is that I would agree with you, but when you ask for, I have enough experience in litigation working for attorneys and I know that when you ask for something to be done and the judge grants the service on it, that means the case in the judge's mind, he's read the pleadings and he thinks it has merit. They won't grant service if the case doesn't have any merit at all. So he obviously thinks there's merit to the case, or she. That's the only.
yeah, I mean, I think that's true to a certain extent. I do think that's true to a certain extent. So I don't know. I guess we'll see how it comes out. But I mean, I don't know the mechanisms to like appeal and whatnot. But
What
I
about
mean,
this? What do you think?
everyone, the
What do you think
cryptocurrency's
about
fate is on it.
what do you think about the idea of standing? I have no standing, but what do you think about the concept? And it was somebody was brought it to me. Vince was like trying to convince me to do an intervention in the case. What about I intervene into the case, do a cross complaint, and bring this guy up and ask who the hell he is and depose his ass? Because he's
I mean, that would
operating
be
under
incredible.
John Doe. You know.
Yeah, that would be awesome. I mean, if you think about it, like if everything got ruled in favor of what they're asking for, then anyone who hasn't made a transaction on their wallet in what 6 years or whatever it is that they said that these wallets have been dormant for is subject to their wallets being seized. I mean, I could find out my friend's wallet address, download it on a USB drive, and take it to the police station. If he has no idea, then I can get his wallet. I mean, it's crazy. It's like
You make a
it's
career out of
anarchy.
just going. Literally, your career could be like, let me just find abandoned wallets. Oh, these are mine. You know.
Yeah, I mean, like it's not like a car where like it's obvious that you would drive it, you would take care of it if you're using it. Like, there's just no way to really tell if a wallet is abandoned.
No, and the weird thing is if you notice that pleadings, he's talking about adverse. Is my mic okay? Can you hear me okay? Yeah. Um,
Yeah, I can hear you.
he's talking about quiet title in his pleadings, but he doesn't mention adverse possession, and I don't know why, because it seems like that's kind of what he's doing is an adverse possession. But at the same time, he has no possession. So he has no control or possession. What does he have? That's the thing. It's just like, what is, I don't just understand the standing at all. Do you? Oh, somebody wants to unmute. Go ahead. But Casey, am I off? Am I muted?
You sound good. I don't know what's going on. BSV Esquire just dropped down and
Oh, his mic must
but
have dropped. How about
yeah, I
now?
think it just
Counsel?
glitched. I
You
invited him back up.
okay, invite him
So
back
we'll
up.
see.
Yeah, so but that, yeah, I thought maybe doing an intervention. The only thing is that what maybe only way it would make any sense is if I can get attorney's fees for it. And then, yeah, then that would make sense, I guess. Then there would
So
be a
sorry, I
bounty.
don't know what happened.
Yeah. So what do you think about that? The angle of the intervention?
Uh, I well, what I was going to say was about what you were talking about adverse possession. Real
Yeah. Oh,
quick, was
adverse
just
possession.
that I think that what they're suing on the grounds of, or like they're filing their claim on the grounds of, is that New York lost and found law, which like if you read it, like it's definitely um less intense of what you have to prove than adverse possession. I mean, adverse possession is like think of like there's like a piece of land, like you're butting to your neighbor's property, and technically it's in their property boundary, but you've cut the grass there, you built a cabin there, and you've held it for X amount of years. I think it varies by state, but like, say you've taken care of it for 6 years. It has to be, I think the elements are like it has to be open and notorious and continuous or something. So like they would never satisfy that here, because all they did was just download a wallet on a USB drive. I mean, they didn't transact on the wallet. It's not very clear whether the owner knew that they didn't possess the wallet, but even if you assume they possessed the wallet, it's not clear that the owner, knew that they were using their wallet. So they have to file on this lost and found claim, which the lost and found law is like, it's designed for like, you find a piece of jewelry on the ground. It's not designed for you download a crypto address on a USB drive. It's crazy.
How's he getting around that $50? Like, isn't it like a 50 or a $500 limit that they said if it's under $500 or something, you just bring it in here? Remember,
I don't
it's
know. I guess you could like argue that like the value of the wallet is just I don't know. I mean the USB drive, but that's ridiculous. I mean there's like billions of dollars on these in these wallets. So I have no idea. That
now.
it beats me.
Do you know what intervention is?
Like you saying like you come in as like a third party and like
Like a third. Well, Vince brought it to my attention. Initially I was like, oh, I have no standing. There's no way. There's nothing I can do. I was a little frustrated. I was like, man, I hate to see this guy win and then nobody do anything. Like I'm like kind of watching and waiting. I'm hopefully somebody defends the case. But if nobody does, I'm like, am I just going to stand by and like,
I know. Well, that's what I'm saying is like I've got old wallets now. They probably have just dust on them, but like if this guy gets what he wants, then he could take my wallet if I don't even check it or anything. Like it's just ridiculous. I don't know.
right.
You would
So I'm
think that
kind of,
you would
I'm
think
kind
you'd
of
have
watching
standing.
and I'm like, well, let's see if anybody defends. Maybe somebody will come forward and defend the case, And I'm like, okay, great. Thank God. But if nobody does, what about intervening? What about I intervene in the case? I mean, I'm just wondering, is that an angle?
I don't know. Yeah, I'll be honest. I am not a full-fledged litigator. I'm a contract guy. So, I do a little bit of litigation, but my most of my skills are drafting written agreements and stuff. So, I mean, I guess I don't know the nuances completely. So my knowledge
Well,
does
don't
kind of
worry,
end there a
because
little
I
bit.
do. So
Oh, great.
yeah, I can do a third party intervention into the case and do a cross complaint on his ass, bring him up on the stand, depose him, do a request for production of documents and admissions, and then just do a flat out deposition and record the whole thing and broadcast it. So, and what would happen is he would fold. I would bet money on it. I guarantee it. He would fold. He would fold before I got there. He would dismiss, he would walk away so fast. He would not want me to let him do that, me to do that. So that's how you put the pressure on him. Let's see what happens.
Agreed. All right, well, I'm going to step down, Gavin, but real quick before I do, I did want to say I put a post out there the other day. If anyone saw I think Craig's working on like this poker BSV thing, and I don't know what it's going to look like, but I think it'd be really cool if like we had a BSV like poker night or something. If you could, and not like serious money, and I don't even know if there is money. Maybe it's all just fake money. I don't really care. But the whole point is, I think it'd be really cool to like have a bunch of people get on there and just play poker on Craig's new, thing that he's developing. So we'll see how it comes out, but I think that'd be really cool to do.
Yeah, I saw you made a post and a lot of people responded, or I know Scott had responded and others. So I will find that, or maybe Casey, can you find that on his profile? I'm looking for, I don't see it. and then share
Well,
that.
we gotta wait. I don't know when Craig's releasing it and whatnot, and then I
It
just want
is.
to see what it's like. But just it'd be really cool. So
I shared that to the nest. I said, community CSW's, BSV community poker night this weekend. CSW is launching it this weekend.